Today's episode of the Influencer Empires podcast is brought to you by the Empire Program with White Label Suite, powering our influencers and building their empires. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is a really incredibly exciting episode for me. This young lady has absolutely blown up on social media. She's been referred to me by people I respect, which is an incredible mark of who she is in the community. She has a double doctorate in chemical engineering, which is freaking scary because that means she's incredibly bright. She worked for Johnson & Johnson for more than 6 years until she launched out on her own and became an incredible entrepreneur. She's been featured in the Board of Experts with Anik Singhal. She is creating incredible tools, and she is known as the Challenge Queen. And it is my great pleasure to welcome onto the show Rocio Arroyave. Rocio, thank you so much for jumping on. I'm so pleased to have you with us.
Thank you so much. What a great intro. Oh my gosh, I feel so honored and humbled to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Now, as I was doing our research, what's really interesting for me is that you came from Puerto Rico, right? So you started off and you hit that kind of academic level. You got into that chemical engineering world, and it was there that you moved to the continental US. You moved to North America, and as I was reading, even just this morning on your socials, I was reading this morning that academic achievement and the drive to get to North America, you were really passionate about that journey, but it wasn't about the actual movement itself that made all the difference for you. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm actually double major in chemical engineering and biotech, right? So I went into the science field, and I wanted to, at that time, I thought, hey, the more degrees I have, the better I'll do in life, right? And that's how I actually started studying and graduated. I landed my first job, like you said, in the US with this big corporate giant. And I started that journey because I wanted to make sure that I was kind of secured financially. But then I started discovering, you know what, like I want something else for me, right? And building something for my dreams and my stuff. And that's when I started dabbling between the corporate world and then let me start my own thing. Let me start a business. Actually, funny enough, I started as a network marketer.
Right.
So I started selling products in network marketing. And how I got from network marketing all the way to challenges is because I started struggling selling my own products like any network marketer beginner does, right? It's like, and then you start kind of getting into those awkward conversations with family and friends and the parties and all the things. And then I said, okay, let me see if like selling with funnels and this automation and online marketing stuff, that's how I got into the world of funnels.
Wow.
And then I said, okay, what if I create a product of my own, right? What if I create my own information product, my own course to sell to network marketers on how to set up their own funnels, on how to sell online instead of doing parties at their friends and their houses? Why don't you transfer that model into online marketing? And that's how I sold my first course.
Wow.
Funny enough, on a 5-day challenge.
Wow, cool. So we'll dive into that in just a second because that's fascinating.
Yeah.
But what's really, it's interesting for me. So you had, I guess to the outsider, you had the dream. You had the double doctorate, the double major. You had the big corporate career. You had the 6-figure salary. I mean, you were well and truly on your path. What was it like? What's that little buzz inside you that said it's not enough? I'm looking for something more. What was that fire?
Yeah, so it was funny enough when I hit a very big promotion in my corporate ladder world, right? I actually made manager before 30, which is a big accomplishment in a big corporate giant, right? It's a big company, it's very hard to get those roles. So before hitting 30, I got my first management role. And I remember when I went into my office with the door and everything, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I have my own door, my own office. Like I don't have to share cubicles, right? And then I closed that door and it was complete silence, like emptiness. And I said, oh my gosh, I was saying to myself, I hit this big milestone, and it felt good for like about a couple hours. And then I felt empty.
Wow.
I didn't feel as fulfilled as I thought I will feel at that moment.
Wow. And it came so quickly.
Yes, and that's when that actually is the part that triggered me. There has to be something else that I was put in this earth to do, like to
Wow.
make my mark. It's not about just becoming a manager and then a director and a VP and like all these different roles that exist in corporate. Is what is Rocio meant to do in this life to actually make a difference?
Wow.
That
Amazing.
is it completely, that moment actually pivoted everything, every decision I have made so far.
So did you search out the opportunity? Did you then go looking, or did it come to you?
I actually started looking.
Yeah.
Started looking on, okay, what can I build for me, right? Like because you don't get educated on how to build a business, right? In the university,
Yeah.
you kind of get some skill sets, and especially in engineering, but it were technical skill sets, nothing about building something on your own, right? So I
Mm.
started searching, and like I said, the first thing that I did was network marketing. It's like, okay, it is like a product, all the businesses and setups and systems are done, and all I need to do is being a promoter, right? And
Cool.
this distribution.
Yeah.
That was my first taste as this is how to run a business, right?
Wow. Wow. Amazing. And were you reading books, around the subject? Were you studying, or like, what made you choose that particular direction? And not, we're not talking about going into network marketing. I'm talking about a specific opportunity. When an
Yeah.
entrepreneur says, "This is me, here we go." Like,
Yeah.
were you educating
The
yourself in that space?
first the first book that I ever read about personal development was The Four Agreements.
Nice. Okay.
Four Agreements was a very big one for me because it is a very simple book, very easy to read, so it's not very complicated, but
Mm.
it's a very good introduction on starting to question everything that you have done so far and everything that you have been taught so far, and then there's more. Then there's more than everything that you have been taught to this point, right? And then after that, I went to the next personal development book. And then I started getting into Grant Cardone, right? And then I started getting into how to run businesses, how to do this and that.
Wow.
And I discovered the funnels. And then I started getting education from Russell Brunson, right? And then those were the kind of the breadcrumbs that kind of directed me to like Onyx Singal now, right? And
Yeah.
all of these things. But I actually made a decision when I actually went into doing a business. I said, I recognize I don't have the skill set to be a business owner because all this time I have been educated to be an engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the skill set to be a business owner. So I made my commitment of investing in myself. It's like,
Nice.
I need to acquire the skill sets to be successful on this new path that I don't know. So I started investing. I'm paying for courses. I'm paying for webinars. I'm paying for masterminds, right? To acquire that skill set because I was lacking that. So
Wow.
that's
So
how
cool.
everything started. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So one of the things that you said, again in a very recent social post, was that the wins, or the successes you had as an employee actually turned into stumbling blocks as an entrepreneur. What do you mean there? It seems like that's a bit of a counterintuitive. What happened?
Yeah, so basically, as an engineer, as a person in science, right? It can be any kind of science or engineering. You are a kind of you are taught how to calculate risk and to minimize risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to think how this decision is going to impact 10 steps ahead, right? So you have to kind of think end to end. If I do this, this is all the trickle effect that is going to happen on this process or in this formula or whatever the process is, right? But the thing is, running a business and being an entrepreneur is the total opposite of that, because you get caught in the overthinking. So I overthink a lot of things because of my background in science
Right.
and engineering, and I'm playing it safe, right? And not taking risk, because risk can mean losing money or hurting someone or whatever, right? As an entrepreneur, is the total opposite. You need to take risk because there's no, I mean, there's a lot of frameworks out there, right? You can do webinars, challenge, you can do a funnel, you can do e-commerce, you can do whatever business is. And there are frameworks out there. But if you are stuck in overthinking everything and you never take action, that's the worst part. I mean, the best entrepreneurs are the people that take action fast.
Yeah.
And even if you fail faster because you're going to learn faster than if you get stuck overthinking things. So
I
the
love what
people
I love Alex
action
Hormozi
goals,
actually broke it
yeah,
down. Like he was talking about. Are you a Hormozi fan?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I love the guy. So he was talking about creating his first Facebook ads, and he basically said, as an entrepreneur, like just as one particular risk, you might look at Facebook ads and think, okay, I'm about to risk $100, or I'm about to risk $200, or whatever it might be. But he says you will fail 9 times out of 10. And I love this mentality. It's like you will fail 9 times out of 10. So be prepared for that. But the time you win will 50,000x your investment. It's like,
yeah,
okay, I'm prepared to lose 200, lose 200, lose 200, lose 200. Oh my God, I just hit a winner, and that one ad just returned me 50,000 as an
yeah,
example. Like, so I love that it's a different approach to risk in terms of understanding. And again, Kiyosaki says something like, you will go broke 3 times before you get it right. You just need to accept it. You need to understand that and it's not for everyone. So I love the fact that you started off on this journey. You're trying to find a path for yourself to create something more. I love the fact that you closed the door and suddenly you felt empty. As you said that, I was reminded of Jim Rohn, where Jim Rohn says, if you're looking to climb the ladder, the top is actually empty. There's nobody up there. It's the bottom that's crowded. And once you get out of that space, it's like you're on your own. You got to look around you. So you were looking for something, and you started off with the network marketing, and then it was trying to create a training to help other people to succeed, to win in this network marketing space, that led you to funnels, that led you to then creating that challenge. Now, as I mentioned before, you are now known as the challenge queen, and people that are big names, some of the ones that we've already dropped on this episode, shout you out as an expert now in the field of creating challenges and funnels. So Russell Brunson made funnels famous, I guess. And now, you are the person that these top dogs turn to understand how to build a challenge-based funnel. So that first funnel that first challenge that you built to bring people into your course, tell us how that came to be. How did you come up with the idea? How did you put it all together?
yeah. So again, like I didn't invent the challenges, right? Challenges have been here for a while, but I said, okay, I saw a couple of challenges. I said, okay, I think I can make this work. And again, this was my very first course ever. So nobody knew me, no audience. So again, this was for total beginners that are, again, at that moment, I was still in my corporate role and I was dabbling into, okay, what can I launch on the side so I can make sure that this is safe before I jump the boat.
Nice.
And I started with a free challenge on a Facebook group. I didn't even have a funnel at that moment. My Facebook group became my funnel. And how I converted that is because in Facebook group, you know that you can put some questions. One of the questions was, what is your email? I started collecting an email list from Facebook, not fancy tech or anything. And I remember, because nobody knew me, I was just posting organically on Facebook, no ads, saying, hey, I'm teaching network marketers how to do XYZ during 5 days. And I chose the challenge model. I think I'm going to say that later, but like the challenge model is very forgiving. So you don't have to be perfect to deliver a challenge that can convert. I remember getting at least 20 people in that first challenge. Again, organically, nobody knew me, 20 people that were interested in learning kind of how to do funnels for network marketing. 20 people. And from that 20 people, I got my first $997 course. And I knew the numbers. I knew the metrics because challenges tend to convert between 10 to 20%. I said, with 20 people, if I can convert only one person in this challenge, I know I have something. I knew my numbers. Again, as an engineer, I know my numbers. I knew that only one person will prove my concept. And that happened.
Wow.
And that's when I started, okay, what else does network marketers need, right? They need traffic. So then I did another challenge later that year about how to use social media, how to use Reels, how to use Canva, right? All of these tools that are very for beginners to understand how can they market online. Again, this works for any business, but that one was more particular for network marketers. And again, I did another sale for $997. So I knew that I without knowing it, I was kind of creating my framework on a 5-day event, or a 5-day challenge, or whatever you want to call it, But I think that challenges, now looking back, challenges are a very forgiving model because you don't have to get it so perfect like a webinar, right? In a webinar, you only have like 90 minutes and it has to be perfectly crafted, right? And it has to be, you have to have the 3 secrets and it has some psychology and it has to be great because you only have 90 minutes, right? On a 5-day challenge, people are spending 5 days with you.
Right.
So not only you can convert cold people into very hot leads ready to buy because they're spending more time with you. They're trusting you. You're building that trust, that relationship. They're going to be kind of falling in love with your personality, how you teach, right? And that container helps people kind of start trusting in you, even if they don't know you. And that's the beauty of it.
I love it. I think this is fascinating for me. So there's a couple of questions that people are going to, I'm sure you get this all the time. So what should I teach in my challenge? And if I'm teaching this in my free challenge as a way of bringing in my leads, aren't I costing myself sales? Like, are these questions that you come across all the time?
Yeah. Yeah. So I started with free challenges because, again, as a newbie, I wasn't sure, like I was even afraid of charging, right?
Yeah.
All those obstacles that come into your mind, like I'm afraid of putting a price tag to my knowledge, which again, that's part of the journey of an entrepreneur. But the very first ones were free because I just wanted to test my material and kind of making sure that it was good, right? I made some revisions. Now I prefer paid challenges. So there's a difference between both of them. So free challenge, you're going to have a lot of people joining, but not necessarily a lot of engagement, right? Because again, people that pay attention. We have heard that over and over again. So you're not going to have as much as engagement as you want. But I always say, even if you do a free challenge, make sure that you have a VIP upgrade. Put it whatever price tag, 47, 97, right? Try to see if you can start getting some commitment from some people. Some people are going to be very serious and they're going to pay that. Now with a pay challenge, because you have a wall with an order form, right? With a pay form, you might get lower opt-ins, but they're more engaged. And the Facebook group gets very active and the people are very engaged and very in tune and they do what you say, right? They do the homeworks that you give them and they're paying attention. They take the challenge more seriously. So I do prefer paid challenges, even if it is a $17. $17 is a very big difference between free and 17.
Yeah.
So
it's intent. It's a much higher. Yeah, I love it. You said a few times this works for any business. Are you serious about that? Is there a challenge that can be run for every single business?
Well, the challenge psychology is similar to the webinar, right?
Yep.
So in the webinar, you have 3 secrets. And what are the 3 secrets overcoming? They're overcoming vehicle objections, right? People that don't believe in your product or your framework. They're overcoming. The second secret is always about internal objections, right? Like, okay, I believe that your framework works, but I don't believe that I have the skill set, right? So it's an internal thing that they don't believe that they got it. They got what it takes. And the third one is an external objection, right? It's like, okay, I believe that I can do it. I believe in your framework, but I don't believe that I have the resources to help me be successful, right? Same thing happens in the challenge. In the challenge, you're gonna overcome the first one on day 1, the second one on day 2, the third one on day 3, and then day 4 and day 5, you can overcome other objections that they might have, right? They might have multiple about the framework or about the resources that I need, right? Like tech, like funnels, like all this other stuff. So it is an event of overcoming objections. That's all. That's the same thing as a webinar, same thing as a challenge. You're overcoming the objections of the person so that the person feels secure that they are ready to take the next step with you.
Amazing. So good. So let's wind back. You've closed that door. The world is silent. You've reached out, you've started building your own business. Somewhere along that time, you started, I think that the expression is selling the tools. Instead of mining for gold, you're selling the tools, which was selling your courses on how to build funnels and how to build challenges, etc. How long was the the time frame between that promotion to manager at 30, still now you've got the big office and you're still working the corporate job and you've started a side hustle. How long before the side hustle became the full-time gig?
I was promoted as a manager at 30. I'm right now 35, right?
Okay.
So that was 5 years ago. But when I actually made the full jump, when I became the challenge queen actually was 2 years ago. So the first year, I was not very loud about it because I was doing a lot of done for yous. So before teaching a lot of people, I was doing it one-on-one clients because I want to make sure that my framework was working and I
Right.
wanted to get results for other people. So the last 2 years is when actually I have been honed into challenges and getting into on stages, teaching other business owners how to run their challenges. So I will say the first 3 years were me dabbling around network marketing and funnels and all that stuff. And then the last 2 years is when I did the transition to full challenges and
Amazing.
being queen. Yeah.
So what does your team look like now?
So I have a small team. I have a person that helps me with my traffic, all the shorts and everything. His name is Colton Havens. And then I have a VA that helps me with designs. But
Great.
the rest right now is we're 3. So me
Fantastic.
and the other 2. Yes.
Amazing. Amazing. And so what sort of volume are you doing? How many challenges are you running per year? Are you teaching other people to run their own challenges? So not necessarily bringing people into your own funnels. You're now teaching others to create their own challenges. You've become a coach in that space. So what kind of volume are you doing there in terms of amount of people you're teaching now?
So the coaching program actually is brand new because I'm going to start using AI to create all of it, right? So I'm already using AI like almost all the business owners out there, but I want AI to do the heavy lifting of creating all of the assets for the challenge, right? So talking about the coaching program is going to be a brand new and it's going to be launching this year, Q1. So it's gonna be at the end of February or beginning of March of this year. So stay
you're
tuned.
You're going to teach people how to use AI to create their own courses and challenges. And that's great. Is that where people can get the challengequeen.com? People can get involved with that and they can find out when you're releasing that?
So if you go to thechallengequeen.com, right now there's gonna be the Challengers Playbook. So you can download that completely for free. That has actually my framework on how to build a 5-day challenge, right?
Beautiful.
So that's how you get into my email list. And then you're going to start receiving emails about the invitation to join this 5-day challenge that is going to teach you AI, right?
Fantastic.
And how to do all of it with AI.
So I'm sure a bunch of people are going to want to do that. So that's thechallengequeen.com. So Rocio, tell me, as you've been doing this, we talked about the journey of becoming an entrepreneur, the risk taking that goes with that. What's been the biggest aha moment for you? What was the win where you sat back and went, whoa, this is what's going on? Like, tell me about that day.
Well, I think the biggest one was when I did my very first high ticket sale. And I think it's not about the price tag. It's about the mental shift and the mental the limiting beliefs that I had on myself, right? And so when you start getting out of corporate job and into the entrepreneurship, right? Your brain is still wired as I'm being paid by my hour, right? So if you're, let's say, your hourly rate and I don't know, $30 an hour or whatever, just to put a number out there. So you come from that mindset and that framework. My worth is based on the hours that I put into work. So sometimes if you find a skill set easy, right, that is innate to you, you don't value that as much because it can take you, let's say, 2 hours to do a website, right? And then you just value, that's easy, it's 2 hours. But for somebody that has nothing, that doesn't even want to deal with that, it is a very valuable asset to have for their company.
Absolutely.
So somebody might be willing to pay $5,000, $10,000 for a website, design and everything. But for you, it took you, I don't know, 2 hours. I'm just making
and it was
random,
easy. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But then it's that mindset that, hey, my skill set is worth it. It's worth this price tag. And I think it comes with that mentality as well is, am I worthy? Am I worth that value, right? that mindset actually was huge for me to overcome. And when I got my first high ticket sale, it was like,
Change the world.
I knew I belong. That was the first time that I felt I belong in the entrepreneurial world. So
Amazing. And I mean, since then, standing on stages and being guests everywhere, what was your first kind of stage appearance? Like now you've made it. Now you're the challenge queen. Where did you get your first kind of public exposure in that space?
So I did got the very first time that I called myself the challenge queen on stage was actually in Onyx Singal's event, Expert Summit. And then after that, I joined the board of experts, his private mastermind. And I started also teaching other business owners and people in the mastermind as well.
Mm.
That was the first event that I had kind of the identity of the challenge queen. But before that, there was one more event where it was called Freedom to Impact. And that one, I was actually teaching still network marketers how to do their own things. So that kind of gave me the training on, okay, let me speak on stage, how to do this and that. But then with Onyx Singal, actually, he exposed me to his expert summits. And I think I talked at least 3 or 4 times in his different summits. And I'm always very humble every time that they ask me, hey, do you want to speak? We want the challenge queen here. It's like, okay, great.
Amazing.
So it has been an amazing journey and very humbling. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that these big dogs have given me
That's
on
so
their
cool.
space and their trust, right, with their people.
Have you got some events on the horizon? Are there big ones coming up that you're going for?
Yes, I want to go to I want to be more exposed to AI events and to traffic events. So I also, one of my buddies, right, Jeff Hunter, he's the AI expert, and we're actually also working together with doing AI stuff. So he has been connecting me with some people just to make sure, hey, we need the challenge queen on these events. So definitely AI events, I'm going there because again, that's not going anywhere. So we need to be educating ourselves in AI. And then traffic, because every business owner needs traffic. So those
So
are my
getting
top.
you on stage at Traffic and Conversions is going to be a goal. Getting you on
That will be
stage
amazing.
at some of the big AI brain events is going to be the goal. That's going to be fun.
Yes.
How do you think AI has impacted business owners in the last 12 months or so?
You know, it has been a blessing, honestly. I think that so there's always 2 groups, right? So people that refuse and resist AI, and then the
Right.
people that love it. I think I'm in the world where I love it because it has helped small business owners and solopreneurs and startups to kind of level the field with experts. So imagine a business owner that has been in the game for 10 years, that probably has a team, has a copywriter, has a social media manager, has an email management, right? Or all these different roles. And now a solopreneur can actually get into that same level, right? Because AI can function as your multiple different employees.
Absolutely.
And now something that it took you hours, so like, oh my gosh, I don't have many hours to do emails, do posts, do reels, do all of this other stuff. Now you can do it with AI with a couple of prompts, right? So it is definitely a huge advantage for people that are understanding, that are getting into the game right now, because it's actually giving a fair chance to those small business owners or solopreneurs that are starting.
Some of the things that we've been able to do have been amazing. I mean, I think the very first time that I was amazed by AI, it was just for fun. It was that, when ChatGPT kind of hit the mainstream, and it was a friend was showing me, write me a song about my friend Walt. And it was incredible. And then it was like, okay, revoice this song in the voice of a pirate. And it was like, come on, that's just ridiculous. So much fun. But these days it's turned into a serious business tool. So the other day on a webinar, we had, it was a 90-minute training session, and we literally showed people how they could build a training course in any niche within 30 minutes with the ChatGPT prompts. And it's so incredible to think what used to, as paralyzing as it is to create a new course, now we can go, okay, great. What used to take me 6 weeks or 8 weeks to be able to create, video course or whatever it might be, I can bang that out in 2 days. And then I can get the AI to be a top copywriter. I mean, I find it amazing. So in terms of, and again, knowing you've got this new training coming through, do you feel that advantage in creating courses, in creating challenges, in creating social media. Do you feel that business owners now, are they too late already, or is it still only just getting started?
I don't think that anybody's too late right now. It's still getting started. There's so much things that AI can still do that I think that we're just at the tip of the iceberg. I think that we need to get in now. I think if we don't get now, this year is going to be huge because a lot of new updates are going to start coming up with AI, and new software and new capabilities. But at the same time, the people that are learning now, that are experts, are going to become also the people that are going to teach these beginners, these other big companies, or they're older, maybe older companies that are still doing the old way stuff, right? And how can AI save them money, go faster, right? And just be more efficient. So no, so the short answer is we're not too late. We're still, there's still a big piece of the pie that everybody can benefit with AI.
Yeah, and I like what you said there as well. Like the people that are learning the skill now are the ones that will be teaching that. I mean, I was at a mastermind, I think about 3-4 months ago, and they introduced someone as, this is the guy that's really dived into AI, and it was like he is now the teacher of this stuff. Like it's so brand new that you can learn the skills, and there's so much market that want to learn the skills that you have that kind of on-flow effect. You can become the coach in that space, which is really, really cool. So Rocio, if you now you've got the challenge queen, you're now up on stages, you're creating dynamic programs, you're teaching people how to do that. If you had to start again, knowing what you know now, I mean, now you're 2 years into this amazing journey and this positioning, knowing what you know now, if you had to start again, how would you clean slate? What would be your first moves to get back on top quickly?
If I started today, because of all the AI buzz right now, I will say learn AI, do a challenge to teach AI, and then sell a course about AI.
Cool. Amazing.
Whatever skill set it is. That's kind of the fastest path to cash right now.
I remember standing in a room with Armin Morin years ago, and I said to him, same question, if you had to start again, what would you do? He said, I would go into weight loss, because look around you. It's just like every single person is in that space. I feel like AI is that same wave right now. It's like, if you're not in AI, if you're not talking about AI, if you're not learning about AI, you're not in the game. And that leads to, there's going to be so many more people that want to know it and move forward with it. So you mentioned about your team, Rocio. You've got the 3 people, your traffic guy and your assistant. What's your tech stack look like? Are you bound to particular platforms? Like what's a day in the life for you?
Yeah, so definitely funnel building is a must-have. So any software will do, right? Your high-level click funnels, whatever you want. You definitely need an email autoresponder, because first you're collecting emails. You need to nurture that audience. Again, with AI, you can do it now faster. And then definitely your social media. So we're doing right now a lot of shorts and reels, right? Content. So we're posting into TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So we're doing that. But yeah, I think that is and then obviously AI, right? So don't forget about AI software. So your ChatGPT and Claude. I use a lot of Claude as well. So yeah, those will be like my top softwares right now running. Because that, again, if you have that setup, any small business owner or solopreneur can start with that. Your funnel building, an email autoresponder, AI, and posting on social media. Those are the 4 things that you need to start doing.
Are you a regular emailer? Are you sending out content to your list on a regular basis?
So that's going to be ramping up this year. Yeah. So right. I have to admit, again, with all the things doing, like I haven't been very religious about emailing my people, but I know that that's gonna be huge this year. This year, and this is what all the top gurus are saying as well, is 2024, this year is gonna be the year of personal branding and trust, building trust with your audience. Why? Because in a world of AI, now a lot of people are going to be able to start producing massive content. But if you nurture your audience well, you need to start building and increasing the trust in your audience. So that goes with email, that goes with a free Facebook group, So those are going to be my main focus this year is building a community on Facebook, and making sure that I'm on top of my email nurturing, and then creating more content, kind of getting my face out there so that I can attract more people.
I think it's really important. So I was talking to Jeff Hunter, as you know, he introduced us, which I'm grateful for. And we were talking about this kind of explosion of content that AI has, by its very nature, created, where it used to take a professional writer 2-3 days to research a topic and to create a great article and optimize it, blah, blah, blah. Now they can do that 500 times an hour kind of thing. And so this explosion of content because of AI, really interesting to hear that the edge for the entrepreneur is going to then be almost less AI and more about them personally. And I love that sort of concept. The personal brand is what people talk about you when you're not in the room. That's really what you're creating and you're nurturing. So how does a business owner go about that, Rocio? Like, from your experience, and as you said, if you lost everything, social media would be one of the main playbooks that you go down. Somebody who's just getting started, somebody who's in that same space that you were, they've got a corporate job, but they want more, they want to get out there. How does social media play in an entrepreneur's life, do you think?
I think is a must have. You need to be in social media. And I know that when I was in my corporate job, I was very timid on posting because I was thinking, okay, what will my boss said, right? Or what will this other person said? And I was very kind of cautious of what I said or even posting at all. But I think that once I understood, and again, this is a journey that every person goes through, is if you don't get yourself out there, there's no way that people are going to know about you.
Yeah.
Because we most likely have seen another person selling almost the same thing as you.
Right.
And probably they have less skill set than you. And you see them and you say, man, I know I can serve better. I know that my product is better, but why are they selling and not me? It's only because they're more exposed, because they're reaching more people. So social media, it is a blessing because it is basically channels of reaching audiences. Reels is something that Reels and Shorts, right, can reach so many people with their views, and that's free traffic. You don't have to pay for that traffic, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So if we're not posting, if we're not exposing if we're not exposing ourselves in these channels, I think that we're shooting ourselves in the foot, because it is our responsibility to be visible. If we're not visible, nobody will find you. Nobody will know that you have this amazing product or this amazing service, right? So you have the responsibility to serve that audience by showing up.
It's still the best platform for free traffic. I mean, being able to be on social media is amazing. And we're at the high level event in Dallas. I love Billy Jean, who was talking about getting onto social media now with AI. You don't need to be on camera. We did a great a little experiment with Hey Gen, the video AI program, and just uploaded a 2-minute video where I was talking about the lighting and my kids and what was happening outside, like literally talking rubbish for 2 minutes, and then let AI just create business content over and over and over again. So you don't need to be on camera, which is great. A lot of people feel afraid of sharing on social media. And just before we hit record, that's something that you were talking about, actually, was that you've been timid about sharing your story. Can I explore that a little bit? Just if it's okay with you, I typically put that down to fear. I always think people go, what if somebody judges me? What if I'm a little bit scared of it? Tell me about that. I'd love to hear your experience there.
I'm super guilty of that.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. I'm very judgmental about myself, very hard on myself. And I don't know if that comes from my engineering brain or if it is like how I am. But
I think it's just human nature.
Exactly. I think that is. And then it was also the reason why I didn't share my story. It was also because of, okay, what my corporate people will think, right? Those friends, that group of circle of friends that come from corporate, or this potential person that can potentially give me a job in the future, right? So I was so afraid of saying something that will offend them.
Right.
And then they would like blacklist me or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, but if I don't share this story, I can bet that a lot of people are in my same situation, that they
Right.
feel this fear of speaking out their truth,
Mm.
that they feel this fear of, I cannot be truly myself in fear of acceptance.
Yeah.
And I think that going into the entrepreneurial journey and that world, you need to overcome that, because people will follow you because they're going to fall in love with your personality, your story. You're going to say something that is going to hit their soul, and they say, oh my gosh, Walt understands me. He knows what I'm going through. And that's why people follow you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think that telling your story, if it isn't uncomfortable, if you feel that it's uncomfortable, that's the story that you should be telling.
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
think
Because your audience
that's
will
the one
resonate.
that
Like,
can pivot somebody's life and journey.
yeah, you're so right. I think there's a lot of conflict, and you mentioned it yourself. Like you're working the job, you're trying to build up a side hustle, and I don't want my boss to find out. I just
Yeah.
you can be. I've seen incredible million view YouTube channels where the person's face never appears on camera, and in fact, I'm trying to remember the interview that I did, but where you can actually create incredible personalities around that space. But whatever it looks like, you need to be out there. And I've heard it said before, you can only ever grow to the maximum amount of people that know about you. And it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
your product is, right? Like you could
Yeah.
you could be selling pens or coffee cups or online courses, whatever it is. Unless people know what you have, then how are you ever going to sell it? And you need to be able to have that thing. And I think it comes down to acceptance. I know this is your interview, so I don't want to be doing too much talking, but a great friend of mine talked about how to get past that imposter syndrome, where it's
Right.
like, I don't know if I'm really good enough. Now, for example, with you standing on stage talking about challenges, about creating challenges to generate leads, to create, bringing, sales, there ain't nobody better. Like you could stand on stage and every single person on the planet is going to listen to you. So imposter syndrome doesn't exist when you hit that kind of, I've done the work, I've got my space. But at the same time, it's like if you're standing on stage and you're about to talk about traffic generation, and sitting in the audience is Russell Brunson, Anik Singhal, Alex Hermosi, you're like, what the heck can I talk about that are going to, resonate? So somebody said to me, to get past that imposter syndrome, it's like, you imagine that you were standing on stage and you've got the best in the world of your subjects in the audience. How do you feel? Like, terrible. I can't speak. They are going to laugh me off the stage. But switch that around and think, okay, the people in the audience, this is the first day they've ever experienced what you're about to talk about. They have no knowledge. How do you feel now? Like, man, I could talk about it all day. Like, nobody here is going to judge me poorly. The cool thing about that is when it comes to imposter syndrome, the audience will listen up to the point where you are their teacher. At the point where you are not their teacher and they are your teacher, they'll still listen, but they'll listen and they'll give you kudos for being part of the journey. So they won't necessarily be the people that are learning from you. Only the ones that need to learn from you will be paying attention and listening. The other people who are already above you won't pay you any mind. So you've got nothing to lose anyway. Rocio, I love what you've created as a brand, as an entrepreneur, as an expert, and helping other people, helping business owners generate their best traffic, their best customers. What advice would you give to someone who's listening to this that says, I really want to know, Rocio, okay, you've sold me. I'm going to launch a challenge. What advice would you give to people to start that journey?
Just create a challenge on what you know, your framework, right? So a challenge, I see a challenge as a free sample. So you go to Costco or Sam's or this stores, and then you taste a sample of whatever they're cooking right there, right? And then you say, oh my gosh, I love this salmon, and then you buy the salmon, right? So the challenge is kind of the same thing. Is a taste of your framework on what are you going to teach them that can serve this person. And then at the end, you say, hey, if you like what you saw, right, then you can continue. The next steps will be, hey, follow me in my journey, join our program, join whatever, right? Whatever the offer is to continue the journey with you. So think about, don't overcomplicate a challenge. I will say go live at least 1 hour or less. 30 minutes is the sweet spot. You don't
Okay.
have to overteach stuff. And then just teach them what you know, providing a homework so that they can feel that they're implementing a couple of things, right? And then they feel that they're actually achieving milestones along in the journey of those 5-day of that 5-day challenge. So I say don't overcomplicate it and teach what you know, teach your frameworks and keep it light, right? 30 minutes to 45 minutes is the sweet spot for every day.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's think about the challenges that you've run. Whatever, all kinds of things. We started with the network marketing. There might be other things, learning funnels, learning different bits and pieces. Why do people engage in a challenge? What creates the desire in someone that says, okay, I'm going to do a challenge right now? Like, what is it? What's that psychological lever that gets somebody to say, yes, I'm in?
Yeah, so the challenge, the good thing about the challenge is, first of all, the challenge is a combination of all of the best funnels, right? The challenge can be your lead magnet because it can be a free event, or it can be a low ticket funnel because it can be a paid low ticket challenge, right? But then after that, it converts into this community, right? Because in that 5-day container, everybody is kind of sharing up, and you create that synergy and this kind of brotherhood, sisterhood, right? That occurs in the challenge, where everybody is learning the same thing. You provide a homework so that they can feel, okay, whatever I learn on day one, I can implement something today, right? So they're not going to be stuck in this loop of learning course after course, webinar after webinar. No, they're actually implementing something that they learn on the day one. And then day two, they do the same thing. They implement a small step, a small win on day two. And because of their implementing, right? The person that joined the challenge on day one is going to be completely different than the person that is leaving the 5-day challenge, because they already implementing something completely new in their business.
Wow.
So that mini transformations that happen in 5 days is huge for that person. And that's why challenges can convert higher than other funnels, is because they already kind of tasted your framework. They're already implementing some things that are helping them. And now they're more likely to just say, hey, okay, I'm ready for the next step. I want to go all in, right?
So much more effective than just a course. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
how many of us, guilty, have hard drives full of courses that, with best intention, you've never opened? So people, you're finding that people with a challenge, the difference between a course and a challenge is the implementation along the way. And what an incredible source of social proof. As you're setting that homework, you're getting people to come back into the group and say, done, I completed step one. What an amazing source of social proof. Are you finding that community motivates the other people to succeed as well?
That's why I said that any person starting should start with a challenge. And the reason is because with those homeworks, everybody posts their homeworks, their screenshots, whatever it is. Now you have massive social proof that people are actually getting value out of the challenge. So guess what? Those screenshots become your testimonials for your funnel, for your challenge, right? So now you can sell the second challenge, the third challenge, and you can say, hey, look at all of the success of these people because they did the homework.
Wow, so cool.
It is an event that can create all of the assets that you need to sell anything.
That's so
because
good.
It's creating all of the testimonials that you need.
I love it. I love it. Rocio, I'm sold. I'll be launching challenges into our space and getting that kind of thing. People who want to do the same thing, they can obviously go and grab that framework from you at thechallengequeen.com, which is great. So what's next for you? We're talking about getting on stages. We're talking about this AI course with Jeff, which sounds amazing. Letting AI create the courses and the challenge, which sounds fantastic. What's on the radar for you in terms of the next kind of 12 months looking ahead?
Yeah, so definitely the coaching program is going to be huge for me and my business. I think that I'm ready to teach this in a kind of a group audience, right? A couple of done for you are still in the pipeline. Definitely more stages. 2024 is going to be one that I want to be speaking in more stages, kind of getting exposure to more audiences. And then just keep an eye on AI, right? AI is changing businesses every single month, transforming people's mindset and businesses every single month. So what I'm seeing here is challenges before where people thought that, okay, it's so much stuff that I need to do, it's so complicated, I need to create all these other things. And that's kind of part of the main reasons they didn't do challenge. But with AI now, AI can do so much heavy lifting. And the thing that I say to business owners is, think what AI can do for your business right now that you can remove yourself from it, right? How can you duplicate something that is very task consuming, time consuming, that AI can replicate, right? And you can kind of create a clone of yourself to help you write that email or to help you write that course or whatever that SOP that is so lengthy to do. So yeah, as a wrap up, right? AI, keep an eye on that. I think my continuous learning in AI still goes. Launching the coaching, being on stages, and then and yeah, those are my main focus. This year is big on, and also personal branding. We talked about that. That's a very a big focus of mine, personal branding and all the content that goes with that.
Amazing. Rocio, thank you so much. I think, guys, when you're listening to Rocio, we can understand that coming from a corporate background, this is somebody who really put their mind into achievement in an academic framework, realize that there's more out there, and then recognize the fact that helping other people, which is, I think, the main backbone of an entrepreneur, is the path forward. And of course, then being able to create challenges that bring people in, get them to act on information and achieve results with your systems as you're building is an amazing way to go. So again, guys, you can head across to thechallengequeen.com and grab all the frameworks from Rocio. I cannot wait to see your journey over these next 12 months and beyond, and do pop back in and keep us up to date with what you're working on, and let us know when these new courses are launched so we can tell our audiences and our people as well. Rocio, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us and for being part of our world. And again, guys, challenge yourself to get out there and expand your business, and do so in a way that's helping other people, and led the way by Rocio. Thank you so much again, and we really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much, Will, for the invitation and the time. I thank you. So hope everything was worth listening, and I can't wait for this year. It's going to be big. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next call.